Hello guys, so today we're going to be doing health and wellness. So let me pull that up. Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to be going over health and wellness. So first, we should go over what is healthy versus unhealthy. Health. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So essentially, physical means body, mental means mind, and social well-being means how well you connect with others around you, your peers and your classmates in your school, along with other people such as your friends, maybe, how you interact and how you get along with all of them. It's not just the absence of disease, meaning you're not healthy just because you are not sick. So just because you don't have a sore throat or you don't have a runny nose, that doesn't mean you're healthy if your mental and social well-being aren't good as well. So essentially, when you're healthy, you feel strong, capable, and able to manage life's challenges, adapts to your environment. So adapting to your environment means changing the way you act based on your surroundings, along with living fully. Unhealthy simply means it's not good for your health and it has things that can make you sick, weak, or harm your body or mind. So, some examples of this could potentially be, for example, when you're sick, you do not feel very good. You just don't feel like doing anything. You are at home, you can't do your work. So, that's when you're sick, that's physical. Weak or harm your body or mind. For example, if you're harming your mind, that means you might be surrounding yourself with people who aren't looking out for your best interests. So that's something that can definitely harm your mind, and that's an unhealthy thing or situation to be in. So we're going to go over some things that are healthy or not unhealthy, and now we're going to switch gears a little bit and go to the food aspect of things. So when I talk about food, we want food to um, help our bodies more than harm it. We want it to give us the things that we need to function daily, and we want it to be good. So for food, what do you guys think fruits and vegetables are? Do you think they're healthy or unhealthy? They're healthy. Fruits and vegetables include lots of good vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that our body definitely needs to function. Do you guys think sugary drinks are healthy or unhealthy? Sugary drinks are very unhealthy. They have lots of, as the name suggests, they have lots of sugar in it. So it's not good for your teeth, it's not good for your body, and overall is very unhealthy. Now, what about whole grains? Some of you might not know what whole grains are just yet, but we will go over that soon. Whole grains are healthy. Whole grains give you, they're things that are found typically in your bread or your pasta. They're good foods. Lean proteins. You might not know what that means yet, but just what are you guessing? They're healthy. Lean proteins are typically your meats, maybe like chicken. That's kind of the most common example that you'll find, chicken. Okay, now what are we thinking about fried and fast food? Is that healthy or unhealthy? That is unhealthy. Fried and fast food, they have lots of oils and lots of fats that are going into it. Not that oils and fats are bad, but in moderation. That's the important part. Moderation is key when eating fried and fast foods. So generally, they are considered unhealthy foods to eat. Now, processed meats. Processed means it's gone through a lot of steps and procedures to make sure it is the way that it is. So, processed meats are unhealthy because oftentimes, which means most of the time, there are lots of chemicals that go into processed meats or any processed foods in general. So it's healthier to be eating organic food, which means there's no chemicals and it's very fresh foods. So those are typically more healthy than processed foods or processed meats. So, like we were categorizing the foods in the previous slide, what makes a food healthy? Healthy food provides essential nutrients like vitamins, minerals, fiber, protein, and healthy fats, while being low in added sugars, sodium, and unhealthy saturated/trans fats. Now, I know all those words in yellow might look really big, you might not have any idea as to what it means, but vitamins, minerals, fiber, protein, fats, sugars, sodium, and saturated/trans fats are all very important parts of our body, and our body needs all of these things in order to function. So, like I was saying earlier, foods that have all of these items in a good amount or good moderation, which means it's not too high, it's not too low, it's just in the middle, it's perfect, will be classified as healthy foods, as they will help our body do as much as it can in a safe way. Focusing on whole unprocessed items such as fruits, veggies, whole grains, and lean proteins for energy, growth, and disease prevention. So that is typically a way to identify if food is healthy or not. So by focusing on the whole or unprocessed items such as fruits, veggies, whole grains, and lean proteins, that gives the body energy and it can help fight back diseases. It can help you not get sick if you eat the correct foods. So it, as I have been saying, it is about balance. So balance is when something is not too high, but it's not too low. It's in the middle. It's the perfect amount, the ideal amount. It's about balance, variety, and moderation, making water your main drink. Water is very essential. 70% of our bodies are made up of water. And um, water, it's kind of neutral, but it's good enough for your body. It will replenish all the things that you need that you cannot get from sugary drinks or sodas. So choosing foods in their natural state as much as possible is another factor. That's kind of leans to the more organic side of things. So foods that are in their natural state will be organic. And that's typically better to pick than what I had previously mentioned before about processed foods. Okay, now we're going to go over some healthy food vocab. So, we're going to go over the fruits first. So, fruits, I'm sure you've all seen at least one or a couple of these fruits in your lifetime. Um, so, we have the first one. Let me get the laser pointer out. We have the apple here. apple. We have banana, banana. And we have strawberries, strawberries. Then we have blueberry, blueberry. You can see not so much for these, but they both end in kind of the same word. Berries, berry. Berries means if there's more than one. Berry means one. So if we were not looking at all of these here, if we had singled out just one, we would call that, sorry, we would call that a strawberry. So that would be one. But since there are multiple here, strawberries. And I decided to show that for like grammar purposes, having one here and multiple here. So this one is blueberry, and can you guess why? It's because the color of these berries are blue. So I guess it's a very intuitive name. As such is this one right here. You guys might have heard of the colors of the rainbow. The most basic ones: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, or violet. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this one here is just called an orange. And can you guess why again? It's because it's orange. So this is called an orange, and it's easily one of the most identifiable fruits because of its vibrant color. Then you have mangoes. Mangoes are very, very delicious foods. You might have had them in India. I know they're very nice in India. Mangoes. Then you have avocados. This might be a little bit, these typically come in like from other places, but they are green. They have like a black exterior or the outside. They have a green interior or the inside. And they have a massive hole right here, which is used for the seed. So this is called an avocado. Avocado. And the brown thing right here is called an avocado seed. Seeds are things that you plant in the ground and they grow new things. Now we're going to move on to the vegetables. So I also want to mention, I want to say that there are multiple more fruits. These are just kind of some of the most common ones that you might encounter or that you might already know. So now let us move on to the vegetables. Over here, we have broccoli. Broccoli. They do kind of look like mini trees, I will say, with like a stem and like all of that. But this is called broccoli. Then you have beans. Beans. Then you have lentil. Lentil. Now we have carrot. Carrot. Now we have spinach. Spinach. Now we have tomato. Tomato. And we have cucumber. Cucumber. So this CU right here, it kind of is going to be pronounced like Q in the alphabet, but so it would be cucumber. Now let's move on to grains, and this is kind of the whole grains that we were talking about a little earlier when we were talking about whether foods are healthy versus unhealthy. So this will kind of cover it and make more sense in your minds, hopefully. So first, there is brown rice, I've mentioned here. Rice, as we all know, is mostly commonly white, but there is brown rice, which incorporates the whole grain into the rice, which makes it and gives it that brown color, along with multiple more healthier properties than white rice. So this is brown rice, adequately named for its color or appropriately named for its color. Then you have whole grain. Now you can kind of sense a pattern with all of these foods. Everything is kind of a brown shade. That's kind of the signature shade of grains, the signature color. So now we're moving on down here to wheat. Wheat. Then we have toast. Toast. And now we have oat. Oat. Now we are moving on to proteins. So proteins are very important in your body. They are good for being healthy, and it's recommended that people have a certain amount of protein every day because they're so essential and important and vital to our bodies. So the first kind of protein, one of the most commonly thought of proteins, is meat. Meat. Meat is anything that is an animal, technically. So that would be your chicken, your goat, your sheep. Um, what else kinds of meats are there, do you think? There's pig or pork. Um, Here in the United States, lots of people like chicken. There's lots of chicken places around. Um, so that's kind of something. It's meat. Then fish is also a kind of meat that we consider it to be a meat here. It can vary depending on your location whether fish is meat or vegetarian. But um, fish fish is another way to get a source of protein. And now we have almond, almond, and almonds are they're small brown little eye, kind of football shaped or eye shaped nuts, and they have a good amount of protein in them. Almond or almond, either pronunciation is good. Then now we have soy, soy. And soy comes from soybeans. That's what these are right here, soybeans. And most typically soy is known for being in soy sauce. Soy sauce is a very tangy sauce. It has an umami flavor. Umami kind of means it has like a savory flavor. It's not sweet and it's not spicy. Now we move down over here. We have egg. Egg. Egg is another great source of protein. It has the white exterior or outside, right? And it has a yellow interior or inside. This is also a good way for people who are not or are vegetarian. And if you are vegetarian, that means you only eat you basically don't eat meat. So you don't eat any meat or fish. So for vegetarian people who eat eggs, this is a very good source of protein for them to consider when eating. Now we're going on to dairy. We have yogurt right here, yogurt. Moving on here, you can kind of see the faint outline of a cow in the background. What might this be then? Coming from a cow, it would be milk. Milk. And milk has lots of use cases. It can be used to bake so many things, and it can also, it can be used in many different drinks. So milk is a very, very versatile, or versatile means that it has many uses. So milk is a very versatile food. Then moving on, we have cheese. And cheese is also a form of dairy. And there are multiple kinds of cheese. But Normally you can put cheese on anything that's savory and that will make it taste good. Okay, we're on the last one now, guys. It's on fats and oils. So we have olive oil first. Now, can anyone guess what this oil might be made of? Okay, so it's olives. Olives. Hence, we get olive oil. Butter. Butter. So this is olive oil here, and this is butter. Butter. Then we go on to a mixed medley of nuts. Nuts. And then we go over here and we get a margarine, which is kind of a little different than butter. It's called margarine. This one's kind of tricky because of the way that it's spelled. So it'd just be margarine, not margarine. Margarine. So now we're going to switch gears a little. We're going to end a little bit on the food. We might come back later. So we're going to go into the lifestyle aspect of all of this. So what are healthy lifestyle habits? Healthy lifestyle habits centered on balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, and regular means that it happens very often, like maybe every day. That would be considered regular. But if you came just once a week, that could also be considered regular because you might be coming in once a week, every week. However, or an exception to this would be if you come randomly or without order. If you come randomly, there is no regular. So regular physical activity is a very important part of healthy lifestyle habits. Sufficient sleep is a major one to make sure you're ready to go and function for your day. And then stress management while avoiding smoking and limiting the alcohol and sugar intake. So which smoking is when you take a cigarette um, and you basically light it on fire and it creates lots of smoke. Smoking is very bad for your body because it allows smoke to get into your lungs and it can damage your lungs or make your lungs bad permanently or forever. And that can cause lots of people to become sick. So smoking is not a good healthy lifestyle habit. It's very unhealthy. Also limiting alcohol and sugar. Alcohol is like fermented drinks basically, or wines, and they contain lots of like chemicals and not per se very not like well they contain things that can mess up with your body's system. So it can make you less alert. It can make you less cognizant, which means kind of aware. So it can make you lose some bodily function, which is very bad for your body. So limiting alcohol intake as much as possible is crucial for maintaining or is important to keep a healthy lifestyle habit. Along with limiting sugar, which is not too good for your body, but is of course enjoyed in moderation, is important to have a healthy life. So we're going to go over some vocabulary now for the nutrition and the diet. All right. So first we have balanced diet. That means eating foods from all the groups. And notice how when I was going over the vocabulary about foods, I had it separated into groups. I had fruits, vegetables, proteins, dairy, fat and oils, and um, whole grains. That are major or very big food groups that it's important to get food from all of those groups at least once a day. So that's what a balanced diet is. Nutritious. Nutritious means providing essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals and fats. Whole foods. Whole foods are minimally processed foods like fruits, veggies, or grains. Hydration is very important. Hydration means drinking enough water. If I drink enough water, I am hydrated. If you don't drink lots of water, you are not hydrated. So now moderation. Moderation means eating things like treats in small amounts, not all the time. Junk and processed food, or foods high in unhealthy additives, which means things that are added to the food artificially or fakely, like sugar or fat, are very unhealthy. Now we're going to go with fitness and activity. Exercise and physical activity. Moving your body regularly. Sedentary. A lifestyle with little physical movement, so you don't get up much from where you're sitting a lot. Cardio or stamina. That is aerobic exercise building endurance. Aerobic is it's kind of like you breathe a lot during these exercises, but it gives you more exposure for doing exercises like these or perhaps running in the longer term, so it builds endurance. Then you have strength training. Strength, that's a tricky word, so make sure you try and learn it. Strength training, building muscle, flexibility, stretching, and yoga. To get in shape or stay fit, it's important to improve the physical condition or maintain it in that exact same way. Now we're going to go with the mental and emotional health. So stress management, techniques to handle pressure, meditation, or hobbies. Hobbies are things you like to do when you have a lot of time to waste. Well, not so much waste, but when you have a lot of time, you enjoy doing different activities, basically. Mindfulness, focusing on the present moment. Well-being/wellness. Overall physical, mental, and emotional health. That is well-being or wellness. Then balance, the harmony or the connection between different life aspects like work and rest. Sleep, which is essential for the body and mind recovery. So during sleep, our body repairs itself. It's our mind our mind rebuilds itself and keeps continuously improving it. So now we have general health and habits. We have hygiene, which is keeping clean. Then we have consistency, sticking to habits regularly. Prevention, avoiding illness, checkups, medical. Typically, checkups will be medical. That's regular doctor visits. Immune system, body's defense against illness. Hi, Uncle. How are you?
Yeah, hi Nana.
Hi, I'm doing the Streamlabs right now.
So you're done?
No, I'm doing it right now. I was just wondering if you needed anything.
No. Just I'm just checking whether you know how the things are going. That's
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
it's going good.
okay, good.
Now we are going to move on to the wellness plate. The wellness plate is a very important part of eating healthy. So this is kind of going back to the whole food aspect. Um, Essentially, what these different things mean, these are the different food groups that it's very important to have every day. You have fruits in the top left, vegetables in the bottom left, grains in the top right, and protein in the bottom right. So depending on how big each section is, you're gonna need to have as much as that portion. So typically, you should have a little more vegetables and fruits per day, and you should have a little more grains than protein per day. And you should have a separate or a different side of dairy. So now we're going to talk about a little bit of the types of health and what the types of health really entail. So, what is physical health? Physical health is your body. It includes your heart, muscles, and bones. Exercise helps physical health. Now we have mental health. Mental health is your mind. It includes feelings and stress. Sleep and rest help mental health. Now we have social health. Social health is how you talk to people. Friends and family help with social health. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the exercise and the body. Exercise helps your heart. Exercise gives you energy. Exercise helps your mood, or it can affect or influence the way that you are feeling. So, some types of exercise that you can try and do whenever you want to is walking, running, dancing, or stretching. And there are multiple more ways. There are many more ways to exercise your body and get it the action that it needs. So don't think that you're limited to just this list. We will start to go over more in the upcoming lessons as well. So now we are going to watch a TED Ed video.
Are you still wearing enough layers to insulate Alaska? You need the...
So this is a TED Talk that I'm showing off of YouTube. It is by TED Ed, and it's by Mia Nakamura. And it essentially is going to talk about how the food you eat affects your brain. And it is important to see how that works exactly.
If you sucked all of the moisture out of your brain and broke it down to its constituent nutritional content, what would it look like? Most of the weight of your dehydrated brain would come from fats, also known as lipids. In the remaining brain matter, you would find proteins and amino acids, traces of micronutrients, and glucose. The brain is, of course, more than just the sum of its nutritional parts, but each component does have a distinct impact on functioning, development, mood, and energy. So that post-lunch apathy or late-night alertness you might be feeling, well, that could simply be the effects of food on your brain. Of the fats in your brain, the superstars are omegas 3 and 6. These essential fatty acids, which have been linked to preventing degenerative brain conditions, must come from our diets. So eating omega-rich foods like nuts, seeds, and fatty fish is crucial to the creation and maintenance of cell membranes. And while omegas are good fats for your brain, long-term consumption of other fats, like trans and saturated fats, may compromise brain health. Meanwhile, proteins and amino acids, the building block nutrients of growth and development, manipulate how we feel and behave. Amino acids contain the precursors to neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that carry signals between neurons, affecting things like mood, sleep, attentiveness, and weight. They're one of the reasons we might feel calm after eating a large plate of pasta, or more alert after a protein-rich meal. The complex combinations of compounds in food can stimulate brain cells to release mood-altering norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin. But getting to your brain cells is tricky, and amino acids have to compete for limited access. A diet with a range of foods helps maintain a balanced combination of brain messengers and keeps your mood from getting skewed in one direction or the other. Like the other organs in our bodies, our brains also benefit from a steady supply of micronutrients. Antioxidants in fruits and vegetables strengthen the brain to fight off free radicals that destroy brain cells, enabling your brain to work well for a longer period of time. And without powerful micronutrients like the vitamins B6, B12, and folic acid, our brains would be susceptible to brain disease and mental decline. Trace amounts of the minerals iron, copper, zinc, and sodium are also fundamental to brain health and early cognitive development. In order for the brain to efficiently transform and synthesize these valuable nutrients, it needs fuel, and lots of it. While the human brain only makes up about 2% of our body weight, it uses up to 20% of our energy resources. Most of this energy comes from carbohydrates that our body digests into glucose or blood sugar. The frontal lobes are so sensitive to drops in glucose, in fact, that a change in mental function is one of the primary signals of nutrient deficiency. Assuming that we are getting glucose regularly, how does the specific type of carbohydrates we eat affect our brains? Carbs come in 3 forms: starch, sugar, and fiber. While on most nutrition labels, they are all lumped into one total carb count, the ratio of the sugar and fiber subgroups to the whole amount affect how the body and brain respond. A high glycemic food, like white bread, causes a rapid release of glucose into the blood, and then comes the dip. Blood sugar shoots down, and with it, our attention span and mood. On the other hand, oats, grains, and legumes have slower glucose release, enabling a steadier level of attentiveness. For sustained brain power, opting for a varied diet of nutrient-rich foods is critical. When it comes to what you bite, chew, and swallow, your choices have a direct and long-lasting effect on the most powerful organ in your body.
Okay, that was a wonderful lesson, and that was again the lesson was by Mia Nakamori, but this was found from TED-Ed off of YouTube. So that was a very good video showing you how the brain works. And that is all that I have for today's lesson. I hope you guys liked it. I know it was kind of a little bit of a long one, but it was very informative, and it's a very good English learning topic to have some knowledge on. So I hope you guys liked it, and I hope